Hey guys, Rolando Rodriguez here with xgains.com, where we got workouts that work, eats that satisfy, and everything else you need to reach your lifestyle goals. Discussing macronutrients and how to actually calculate them for your new eating plan or diet or goals in general that you may be trying to reach. Now, in case you don't know, macronutrients are three, right? We got proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Proteins and carbohydrates each have 4 calories per gram. So if you eat a gram of protein or if you eat a gram of carbohydrates, you're going to get 4 calories out of that gram. Now, fat, each gram of fat has 9 calories, right? So you eat a gram of fat, you're going to get 9 calories into your system, more or less, right? So proteins and carbohydrates each have 4, fats have 9 calories per gram. Now, how do we calculate how much of each we need? First and foremost, right, you need to figure out what your goal is and where you are right now. You need to know how many calories you're eating today and whether or not you want to lose weight or gain weight. If you calculate your calories that you're consuming and you realize that you're eating some ridiculously low number, 1,200, 800 calories a day, right? Anywhere near 1,000 calories, and you want to lose weight, there's a major issue. Your metabolism is jacked and you need to fix that first, right? Again, if you realize that you want to lose weight and when you calculate how many calories you're eating per day and that turns out to be something ridiculously low, your metabolism is messed up and you need to figure out how to fix it first. Now, assuming that you're eating a normal caloric intake, let's just say right now 2,000 calories, because that's what's considered normal. Around 2,000 calories. What is your goal? If you want to lose weight, if you're eating 2,000 calories a day, you're going to be eating anywhere from 1,500 to 1,800 calories per day to lose weight. Now, if you want to gain weight, I would suggest to start with 100 to 200 calories more a day. Nothing more than that, especially if you want to do a clean bulk. By clean bulk, I mean every single time that we try to gain muscle mass, there is going to be fat gain as well. You're going to have fat put onto your body. For every pound of muscle, you're not going to stay at your certain body fat. It's going to raise some. So if you want to reduce the amount of body fat that you're going to accumulate as you're gaining muscle mass, you don't want to overshoot how many calories you're going to eat per day, right? So start off with anywhere from 100 to 200, see how that works, and then go from there. So now that you know where you're at and what your goal is, be it lose weight or gain weight, how do we calculate our macros? I personally always start off with protein for a number of reasons. Let's say, for example, you want to gain weight. Well, if you want to gain weight, you want to eat at least 1 gram to 1.2 grams of protein per body weight. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you take 100, times it by 1, you need to eat 100 grams of protein. Or if you're trying to hit the 1.2 grams of protein per body weight per day, then you would have 100. You times that by 1.2, you'd have 120 grams of protein that you need to eat per day. So you need to know how much protein you're going to intake to gain lean muscle mass. You also need to know how much protein you're going to intake if you're trying to lose weight. Because when you're in a caloric deficit, when you're actually trying to lose weight, you want to prevent your body from eating your muscle, right? If you go on a drastic caloric restriction, that can actually happen. Your body can start to break down the protein to use that as glucose, to turn it into glucose, really. It's going to turn the amino acids into glucose via breaking down your muscles and use that as energy. So you don't want that to happen. One of the ways to do that and make sure that that's not happening is if you're entering a caloric restriction, especially if it's a big caloric restriction, like if you're going from 2,000 to 1,500 calories, I would strongly suggest that you eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight while you're trying to lose weight, right? So again, you weigh 100 pounds, you want to eat 100 grams of protein while you're on your calorie restriction. Now, there's another reason you need to know your protein intake. For example, if you're starting a new eating plan, let's say the low carb, high fat or ketosis diet, you need to know how much protein you're intaking, because if you intake too much, your body will take the protein that you're actually ingesting and change those amino acids into glucose and start using that as energy as opposed to burning your fat, which is what you want to be doing if you're in the low carb, high fat diet, especially if you're trying to get into ketosis. You need to prevent your body from using glucose, be it from the sugars that you eat or the protein that you're intaking. So if you're starting the low carb, high fat diet, you need to be anywhere from 2/3 to 3/4 your body weight in grams of protein per day. So you say, I weigh 100 pounds and I'm going to eat 3/4 of my weight in protein per day. So you get 100, you times it by 0.75, you get 75 grams of protein that you need to intake per day. Now, how many calories does that turn into? Well, as we know, each gram of protein has 4 calories, right? So you get 75 grams of protein that you're going to eat per day. You times that by 4. It's carry the 2. It's 300 calories from protein that you're intaking per day. Okay? So if your total caloric intake for the day was going to be 1,700 because you're trying to lose weight, well, 300 of those 1,700 calories are coming from protein. So now you know that. Now, the next thing you got to do for low carb, high fat is, you know that there's 2 approaches really. You can say, for the most part, anybody who's going to want to get into ketosis wants to stay under 50 grams of carbs a day. Okay? So more or less, and you know, that applies for the general population. Some people can go up to 100 grams of carbs per day and still stay in ketosis. Other people have to be at 25, but let's say 50 for this example. So you get 50 grams of carbohydrates is your goal. Now, again, we know that 4 calories are in each gram of carbohydrates. So if you go 50 times 4, or 50 grams of carbohydrates times 4 calories, that's going to be 200 calories per day from carbohydrates that you're intaking, right? So we now know that we have 300 calories from the 75 grams of protein that we're intaking, and then we have 200 calories from the 50 grams of carbohydrates that we're intaking per day. So that's a total of 500 calories. Now, we're trying to hit 1,700. So 1,700 minus 500 is 1,200. If you're doing low carb, high fat, you're going to eat 1,200 calories from fat per day. And to figure out that number, how many grams of fat you need, well, you just take 1,200 and you divide that by 9. Because for every gram of fat that you intake, there's going to be 9 calories in that gram of fat. So if you need to eat 1,200 calories from fat, you divide that by 9, and it's going to give you your grams of fat that you need per day. So to recap, the first step is to figure out how many calories you need to be consuming daily, be it how many you're consuming now and what your goal is. Is it to gain mass or lose weight? But once you have your new caloric intake set of how many calories you're going to eat per day, then you take that number and you start to calculate your macros. Remember, first you set your protein. If it's losing weight, I suggest 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. If it's trying to bulk up, I suggest 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. If you're trying a specific protocol like low carb, high fat, trying to get into ketosis, then you want to be anywhere from 2/3 to 3/4 your body weight in grams of protein per day. Once your protein's set, that stays. That doesn't go anywhere. Okay? And then you start to play with your carbohydrates and your fats. And that is pretty much where you need to start to then sort of track and keep count of how you feel and how much body weight you're losing. Okay? And if it's working, you keep those numbers steady. But yeah, you're going to have to track your intake. Okay? Until you intuitively learn how to eat to reach your goals, right? Because you need to, when you're starting something new, know where you started and where you're going. So you're gonna have to track. The macronutrient numbers out there that suggest, hey, this will works for clean bulks, this works for recomposing your body, and this works for actually losing weight, those are suggestions and maybe marks that you wanna try to hit at the beginning, but you need to start adjusting yourself accordingly and re-examining yourself about every 2 weeks. To see where you're at and if it's working for you. That's it for now. This has been Rolando Rodriguez with xgains.com. Let me know if you got any questions down below. That's again X dash, that's the symbol dash, not the word, gains.com. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Peace.